one of the questions people often ask is like, well, how did you come up with that value? How do you know what you're paying me and how do I know if that's fair? Hey everybody, it's Menser, founder and CEO of Diamond Banc. We're a nationwide Rolex buyer and Rolex luxury lender. Today I'm going to cover like how we derive at our value. First thing that we focus on is market demand. The number one thing that drives the pricing of everything is market demand, right? Supply and demand. How many people want to buy an item and how many people want to buy your item in relation to the items that are available for purchase, right? So that's the first thing that we do. So with Rolex watches, certain models we know sell very quickly or in very high demand, like all steel Submariners, Rolex sports models. Other Rolex watches are in much less demand. Ladies 26 millimeters, ladies dress watches, things like this, where there's a lot of women that say, you know what, I don't think I'm going to wear this anymore. Either the style or the period of my life has changed. So they're all wanting to sell at the same time. Well, there's not a lot of buyers for those because a lot of women today want a men's watch or a larger watch or a different style, right? So it's all based on demand. And then the stronger that demand, the stronger we can pay you in relation to like a retail consumer comp that you'll see online. Everything is driven by demand. That's where we start. From there, we're going to look at condition and the other items that you have, the supporting documentation, right? So let's talk about condition. So for a Rolex, the wear, right? How much has it been worn and how does that wear show? One of the first things you can look at is the bracelet. So on a mint condition Rolex, the bracelet should be very stiff and sit up like this, for example, right? You see how that's very, very straight across. This is a Rolex President. This is rarely worn and in great condition. This watch, you can tell, has had much more wear, right? Because the gold has spread out. So immediately, let me ask you, if you're going to buy a watch, right, are you going to be excited to spend thousands of dollars on a watch that has this? Well, perhaps if the savings is big enough, but ultimately, I think I would want a watch like this, right? So that's going to come into play. But when you look online, you go, oh, well, you know, my watch is selling for XYZ. Well, it probably doesn't have this situation, right? So that's one thing. So the condition, it can also be the crystal, right? The crystal is this part of the watch. Is it that you look through? Is it scratched? Are you missing links? Does the watch keep proper time? So we have a machine in all 13 of our locations that's going to track the timing mechanism and telling us, is it keeping accurate time? Does it need a service, right? Are you missing links? So we totally do a diagnostic approach of the whole watch. So number one is the demand. Number two is the condition. And then also within that demand, is it a limited edition? Is there something special? We do look for every value adding factor because we know you want the most for your watch. Most of our watch sellers are going to check 2 or 3 places and Diamond Banc wants to end up with it. So for example, on a President, this has the olive dial. It's a green color. Well, that dial trades at a premium versus another color. So what about your watch makes it more valuable than the normal and how can we pay? And then the next is supporting documentation, like original purchase receipt. A lot of people don't have that, but when they do, it adds value. Late model sports models need what's called the warranty card, or used to be called the papers, right, from Rolex. So supporting documentation, it's just like you. If you're going to buy something of great value, you want the paperwork, you want the provenance, you want assurance, right? Well, any of our buyers, they want the same thing. So if you have a really valuable watch, and you have no paperwork and no warranty card, that's a bit suspect, both for us if we're able to purchase it and the ultimate end consumer. Those are the things that we look for. Number one is market demand. There are numerous models that we will pay well over the original retail price for in used condition, right? But the majority of watches are not that way. So it just depends. Supply and demand on your watch, unique characteristics about your watch that we can use to know and justify paying even more for it. Then we have the condition, right? Where we do a whole diagnostic approach on the watch, check the case and bracelet, check the crystal, check how it's running, and then also the supporting documentation. So in a perfect world, you would have a ultra high demand watch, would be in really good condition for its age, and you would have all the supporting documentation. That's going to yield you a really strong sale price. On the other side of that coin, if you have a watch that is not a desirable demand, it has a chipped crystal, is a stretched bracelet, and is missing links and has no paperwork, that is not going to be a strong purchase price, right? But because we operate at a very high volume nationwide, we are buying and selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Rolex watches every single month. We have real-time data. So take it like one of these Submariners, like this all gold sub. We've bought and sold this watch dozens of times in the recent past. We have data. What did it bring? And if it had papers, if it didn't, this and that. And that's how we figure our formulas. It's based on real-time data, not an assumption. So that's a big competitive advantage that we can offer you, is the highest price based on recent data. So Diamond Bank, we lead with education and adding value to clients. So if you have a Rolex watch that you bought, inherited, it was a gift, and you simply want to know, what's this watch worth? What can I sell this watch for? What can I borrow against this watch? Or just what's a fair market value? Go to diamondbank.com, fill out one of our forms, and a team member will get back in touch with you. Or you can visit one of our 13 locations nationwide and sit down with a market director, and they will go line by line with you, item by item on your watch, and explain the value and show you comps. And you can either sell us your watch, borrow against it, or just have an informed amount that you know it's worth in the current market conditions. So we look forward to working with you.